Hey, what's going on YouTube? Doing a little pond maintenance. I might do a little video on that today. But I come out here, I wanted to share some gold I have with you. So I keep it here in this little cigar box. And this is all like fractional gold. It's what I wanted to talk about today. So I got some 10th little maples here, Volcambies, and I got some of the collectible stuff like the Korean Tiger 10th ounce. Got a couple of those. And I just got a bunch of little miscellaneous fractionals here. You know, some of these are very familiar, you guys seen before. Some Philharmonics. There's a little tiger. Got some Prospector golden gems. They're rounds. Mr. David Emsley. Philharmonic, Kookaburras. You know, there's some eagles in here. There's a little tiny, there's a Philharmonic and a little Maplegram. Kind of neat little guys. But I just wanted to talk about, you know, the gold and the fractional gold. I've done a video on it before, but I just wanted to hit on this again today. I'll try to leave a link to the other video in case you want to watch that. I'm not afraid to buy fractional gold. The premium's a little bit higher, but my opinion, if you stay between say 10 and 15% premium, you're doing really good. And I can tell you right now that any one of these pieces I've purchased, I could unload fairly easily and make a little profit on each one. So I'm not afraid of fractional gold. You know, everybody talks about the premium, but as we've discussed before, you know, not everyone has the capital to invest in larger size pieces of gold. You know, like 1 ounce pieces, you're laying down a lot of money when you drop in for a 1 ounce piece, you know. But like some people, it's within their budget. You know, they can get a little gram, right? Grams of gold here, which are higher premium. A lot of people won't buy those, but you know what? There's a market for all this stuff. And one good thing, if you get enough of it, like here's a 1 ounce, so you can get the 1 ounce premium, right? But you can still separate these Volcambies. The little combi bars, and you got your fractional gold if you need it. So like I said, there's always going to be a market for this. If you're on the fence about fractional gold, don't be afraid to buy it because the premium's a little bit higher, because it is easier to sell. Most of us just don't have a lot of money sitting on the sidelines, but a lot of us would like to own gold. So this is a great option, way to pick it up. And like I said, I got just a portion in here, but over the years, I've just continue to accumulate stuff like that. Even some of the constitutional. Yeah, so the $2.50 gold Indian, I think it's just over a 10th ounce of gold. I think it's like 0.12 of a troy ounce. So all those are good little pickups, fractional pieces in my opinion. You know, even though I love silver, I also love gold. I like the diversification, and I'm definitely not afraid to buy the fractional gold. Hey guys, had to move outside today, enjoy this beautiful weather on the 4th of July. So I hope everybody's having a good 4th of July so far. And you know, I hope I made some good points, not that you haven't heard it before about fractional gold, but to me, it's just a no-brainer. You know, if you want this stuff and you're worried about the premiums, all you gotta do is shop around. Make sure you stay at 10 to 15% over premium and you're doing just fine. Now, some things may run you just a tad bit more. You know, if you get a Korean Tiger, or certain things will bring a little bit more premium. But if you do your homework, your research, you can kind of get an idea of what the market is. You can always look on eBay at the sold listings. You know, just go down, filter sold listings, look at recent sales. Find the exact same coin, the same denomination, same weight in gold, that type of thing. And you can look and kind of gauge and see what people are actually paying real world prices for these coins. And if you can stay well below that, well, there's a good chance you can sell it. I don't worry about gold dipping down to where I can't resale, because if you just wait it out, sometimes you got to ride a wave. If you can hold out for a little bit, you'll get your money back. My personal opinion, not investment advice, but I'm just sharing you with my own personal experience. So you get a 10th ounce of gold, and you're going to be in that ballpark between $200, $220 right now for most general bullion or low premium type stuff. And that's not bad. You know, you think about gold, how popular it is around the globe. You know, everyone knows what gold is. And if you want to own some, you got to look at the pool of people out there, right? Most of us could afford to buy fractional pieces. But to buy a full ounce of gold when you're pushing that $2,000 plus mark, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of capital to put out front for gold. So, you know, $2,000, it's tough. It's tough to put that out. But it's just easier to buy fractional. Like I said, it's not such a bad deal to get the fractional when you know you can sell it. I've never not bought a 1/10 of an ounce and paid 10 to 15% premium that I knew I couldn't sell down the road or wasn't able to unload. So just my personal experience. I got a rush of traffic. It is a beautiful day. I'd like to be out riding motorcycles. It's taking me off subject now. I used to have motorcycles, so if you ever wondered, you know, the name Zuki Play, I had a GSXR 750 back in the day. And when I created my first email account, I used the Zuki Play on my email years ago. So it was kind of unique then. Nobody had it, and I got tired of trying to come up with different names, you know, not to be like everybody else. So I just kept that name. And then, ironically, I was worried I'd get hurt on that motorcycle, and I sold it and went to a Harley, you know, or cruiser style motorcycle. And then I ended up hitting a deer, you know, and so the point of that is you just never know. It's kind of like precious metals. Honestly, you never know what the market is. But like I said, silver and gold both have been very good to me. Dollar cost average, you know, if you can avoid buying on peak highs, it's hard to know where those are, or peak lows. But if you just dollar cost average and buy all along, usually you'll turn out okay. But if you, as you learn and study the market, then you can kind of time those dips a little better. But like I said, you know, 1/4 ounce gold, you know, people can spring for that. Some people and spend $500, right? I mean, it's still a lot of money. But $2,000 is just unbelievably expensive. The 10th ounce I really like because I think it's in that price range where the biggest audience could afford, and it's big enough they can still see it, and they still feel like they can hold a little bit of weight in their hands and have that. Now, I don't have as many of the grams, like the maple grams, or even, you know, like these little pant 1 gram bars, but they're still popular, and there is a market for those. I mean, some people, you know, it's a struggle for them to come up with $200 or $220 for a 10th ounce, but they still want to own gold and just feel like they have that wealth preservation in their possession. So, you know, a gram is great. You know, they're great for gifts. Like I said, you don't have to put out a lot of capital for them. And I just keep this little box and throw them in there, as I said before. But, you know, one of the other points I wanted to make too is, and I'll show a graph, a little chart in this video, just an example of how realistic the scenario can be. But, you know, with things the way the world are today, you know, gold could make a jump. So if we go back, like I'll show on the chart, gold made a significant jump from, say, 2000 to 2011. Okay, here we are on goldprice.org. If we go down here, they got a nice little price history chart. There's the 10-year high, $2,070.05. Low, $1,050.80. But if we go on down here, we can look at a 30-year chart. All right, so here we are. We got 30-year up. If we go back here to 2000, you know, we can see the price was $255. That was right there at $19.99. So there we are at March 2nd of 2000. We had a gold price of only $285.05. Oop, went to January on me. 285.05. And then if we can look out here, you know, at 2010. So if we look out 10 years later, March 5th, 2010, we had a price of $1,134. And then as we go on out, you can see in 2011, we're at 1613. We climbed all the way up, all right, to, where was the high? 1854. Okay, so the point I wanted to make there is, you know, the increase. We went from under $300 gold, right, to all the way up to over $1,800, $1,854.40. So that was a big climb. I mean, you figure if you do the math, we had about a 6.5, almost 7 times increase in gold price. So it is possible to make a significant jump. Just wanted to show that to you here on goldprice.org, what gold can do performance-wise in just a little over a decade. It's almost unbelievable. So for me, this is a long-term hold, so I could easily be holding a decade or two before I wanted to sell this gold, you know, or I may not sell it, I may just pass it along, depending on what happens, if I need it or not. But the point I'm trying to make is, right now, the reportable tax threshold for precious metals with dealers in different places is around $10,000. I think it's $10,000. So there's an alert factor that goes off to let the government know, hey, you're spending some money. And what if you have an ounce of gold and we just fast forward between 10, 15, maybe 20 years in the future? Right? So what if gold moves, that 1 ounce of gold that you got that low premium for, what if it moves to that tax threshold? Okay. Now it may not be as popular as it is currently today. You know, so sometimes you kind of got to try to think ahead a little bit. Maybe now these little smaller fractional pieces become more valuable to people, right? Because if you're up that $10,000 tax threshold, so and gold is $10,000 an ounce, could be. I mean, it's a stretch, but hey, you never know. That's what I'm saying. You never know. But historically, we've seen how that can happen. But if that was the case, and we went from $2,000 roughly an ounce gold to $10,000, a 5x, not crazy, right? But if we did, now all of a sudden, you know, your 10th ounce of gold, just the melt value alone is $1,000, right? And maybe they lower that tax threshold. Maybe the reporting limit's $5,000, you know, or maybe we're lucky and it's still $10,000. But all of a sudden, this $1,000 coin looks a lot more appealing, right, than that full 1 ounce coin. That's just my personal opinion. And if you're below that tax threshold, and say you're selling peer-to-peer too, you know, it's still easier. You could say, well, peer-to-peer, you've got, who cares what the tax threshold is? If I'm selling it to a family member or a friend, they don't care. But my point is, it's still harder. You know, it's a lot less realistic that they're going to have 10 grand to pay you, you know, but they might be able to come up with $1,000 and still want to own this gold. And this 10th ounce becomes a lot more popular, in my personal opinion. Even the grams at that point would be, they might be highly valuable. You know, that might be in a lot of people's realm that they can afford and still want to own gold. I don't know, you know, what your opinion is. Please leave your comments down below. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. And all these guys out here riding motorcycles on this beautiful days, making me jealous. I want another one. But I'm getting old and I'm getting smart, so I know I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to avoid it. I'm just envious as they go by while I'm out weed eating and mowing my grass and stuff, trying to keep up with this place on my days off. But anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. Like I said, you guys just comment, let me know your thoughts. And I know if you don't like gold, it's not going to matter. You know, you're not going to buy it anyway. But what I'm saying, if you do want it, and don't worry about your pocketbook, you know, slipping down to the lower denominations premium. Do your homework, stay between 10-15% or below, of course. If you can get below 10, great. But I think you'll be okay, just in my experience. So I hope this helped some of you guys and give you a new perspective, especially with the tax reporting and things, kind of looking out to the future, right? This may be a good bet. I mean, I'm gambling on it. That's what I'm doing. I mean, I wouldn't turn away from a 1 ounce piece, but I'm typically the opposite. I try to stay a 1/4 ounce and below, or maybe even I might opt for a 1/2 ounce, you know, but I'm thinking ahead of when I have to sell this stuff. It's always held its premium, and we might just slip in under that tax threshold, which could be more appealing to some people. So just something to think about. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching and hanging out with me for a little bit. But as always, you guys, peace out. Keep stacking, whatever you like. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.